Hello guys. I'm gonna be reacting to this video. Kind of pre-watch it a little bit before, I was thinking maybe I should try to react to it instead of continuing to pre-watch it. Just so I can get my thoughts on this base video that I found. So that's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna watch it that we've lost our damn minds. Yeah, so everyone has lost their minds, right? It's made the Lindsay Clancy case made a lot of people lose their mind. So we're gonna watch it. This based video.
The internet was a mistake. We have officially broken bad. Recently, a married mother of 3 young children was grappling with postpartum psychosis. Not just depression, but psychosis. She was committed to a psych ward for a brief stay, but she lied her way out of it and made her way back home. When her husband left the house to go get food, she took her 3 young babies into the basement, lined them up, and one by one, wrapped an exercise band around their neck and strangled them to death. Now, strangulation is very difficult, even with a toddler. It takes a lot of force and a lot of time. It's a very intimate way to kill somebody, which is probably why she turned the kids face down as she did it. She didn't have to watch the...
Yeah, it's very slow and it's very terrifying when you think about it. Because suffocation means you stop breathing. Like, what went in those kids' mind is unimaginable. Because as they're suffocating, they're dying and they know they're dying. And like being unable to breathe is probably some of the most terrifying things, the most terrifying way to see yourself die. At least in my opinion. Not being unable to breathe, gasping for air, and not getting air. And it's a slow death. It's not a fast death, it's a slow death. So you can't even imagine what went in the kids' minds through when their mother of all people, the person that was, supposed to protect them, be there for them, is the one who strangled them to death. Now, look, I get it. The psychiatric ward should not have let her out. That's another thing entirely. But it does not excuse the woman killing her 3 kids. Her mental condition does not excuse it. We as a society, we cannot excuse something because someone could not control themselves. That's not a society we want to live. If we did live in that society, everyone would be crazy and everybody would be killing people. So we can't be living in that. We have to put our foot down. Even if, like, she was struggling with some mental illness, it still does not excuse the fact that she killed her 3 kids. That is my personal opinion.
The life drain out of their panicked eyes as she choked them out. It takes about 3 to 5 minutes to choke a toddler to death, so the 3rd child had to stand there and watch their siblings die for about 10 minutes before it was their turn.
Way to go.
After Mama had finished killing all of her kids, she promptly went upstairs, slashed her own wrist, jumped out the 2nd floor window to off herself. Well, the snow outside cushioned her fall, the cold slowed her vitals, so she merely fractured her spine, paralyzing her, but she ultimately survived. When her husband came home with dinner, he called out for the kids and his wife. Nobody answered. He went upstairs thinking maybe she was bathing the kids. When he got to the bedroom, he saw blood splattered everywhere and the window wide open. To his horror, he saw his wife on the ground outside paralyzed. He asked where the kids were, and his heart sank when she murmured, "In the basement."
That's gotta be terrifying. That's like, what the fuck? That's something like most people can't even imagine. I cannot imagine that. But like a father coming in, I thought it was medicine, but medicine, groceries, pretty much the same thing. But you can't leave. He could not leave his wife alone for about 15 minutes with the kids without this crazy woman strangling them to death. what kind of world is this that we're living in right now? It's insane.
He was on the phone with 911 when he discovered his dead babies. So there's a recording of his screams as he turned over his dead children, seeing their blue faces and their eyeballs nearly bursting from the sockets. The man naturally moved far away in a desperate attempt to reset his life somehow, and his wife is on trial for murder. And women on TikTok are supporting her. Go ahead, look around if you dare. You will see hundreds of psychotic women supporting Lindsay Clancy, blaming the husband.
All right, he did it. Patrick did it.
Lindsay Clancy is obviously not guilty.
He did it. He did it.
Patrick's the one who did it. Not Lindsay. Patrick did it.
Lindsay Clancy's birth chart. Just following all their birth charts and birthdays.
And what is their excuse? Oh, it's pizza. It's the crystals told me. Oh, he's a Gemini. He moved on with his life and got a new wife. Bro, this is their evidence, by the way. This is what they're using as evidence.
Zodiac signs.
I've already gone over the forensic astrology charts that show that the perpetrator is a man.
Women typically don't strangle.
I'm telling you all right now, when the South Node goes into Cancer,
He's a Gemini man.
They poison or drown them.
I can't wait for this man to be humbled and for karma to do its thing.
Donald Trump.
Really, guy? And I saw that TikTok video. This woman in this video was claiming that he had the same star sign as Donald Trump, so he's guilty. This was her logic. This was this girl's logic, by the way. That's insane.
Because, of course, in this dystopian social media era, everything is a conspiracy. Nothing is real. Bad things don't happen. Every real story is just fed slop. The real story is some convoluted, nefarious plot by the Jews.
What? That's so crazy.
Whatever the opposite of Occam's razor is, that's TikTok. We have lost our damn minds. I really think that COVID fried people's brains and that they've simply never recovered.
I think it was
we
more
were
than
gaslit
COVID.
to hell, of course. Tony Fauci,
yeah,
Dr.
COVID
Tony
did not-
Fauci, funded the
COVID played a
development
role
of the
in
virus.
this,
He
yeah.
lied about the lab leak.
So it came from a wet market in the same place where there's this huge lab that does all the kind of development of exactly what this thing is. That's some coincidence.
When COVID was going on, I got a one good look at this guy, and I said, I don't trust him. I don't trust him. No. One good look, I'm like, this guy, he's fishy as fuck. Nope. And no, I did not get, I'm not vaccinated, by the way. I did not get vaccinated at all. I didn't trust that shit. I stayed away from it. And let me tell you something else. I didn't take that horse dewormer either. Even, you know, I didn't take that either. So I was like, yeah. And yeah, some people were taking like the actual horse dewormer stuff. I know someone who did. It didn't really help that much, but you know, at the same time, that stuff was also prescribed as actual medication instead of picking it up off the shelf. But yeah, no, I saw this man, when I saw this man during COVID, I'm like, nope, don't trust him.
They lied about the threat to kids. They locked everyone down.
I wear a mask to school. I wear a mask to school.
It was like some horrendous
It looks
globalized
like some
Stanford
type
prison
of
experiment. Our
indoctrination.
institutions completely eviscerated their own
That's what
reputation
this
and
seems
dignity.
to me.
Gavin Newsom locked us down and then had a fancy dinner with friends at the French
I remember
Laundry.
that.
The
I remember
science
watching that.
told us that if you went paddleboarding alone in the middle of the ocean,
No,
you
I
needed
did
to be
not know about
arrested for
this.
killing grandma. But of course, if you riot with 500,000 people, that's
remember
totally
this,
fine
though.
because viruses take a time out when it comes to social justice. Our institutions
Yeah.
so thoroughly destroyed any semblance of credibility that they ever had, and frankly, they don't deserve that trust anymore. But we've devolved into a buffoonish low-trust society where now people see conspiracy and malice in literally every corner of human life. Nothing is real, but everything is real. But beyond that is something darker. It's not just that we've allowed ourselves to believe the craziest things. It's not that we've just jettisoned our critical thought. We've lost our humanity. Look at the animals who people are now celebrating.
This is the base take I was talking about. When he said animals, I was like, yes, because he is 100% right. These people, they act like animals. There is no better fitting word than animals. At the worst of it, calling them animals is like it's an insult to actual animals. That's the worst of it. Because most animals are probably more intelligent than these people. So, it's a nice word to use because I see a lot of this, stuff online. And it's like, yeah, animals is a good word. That is a good word.
Openly. Luigi Mangione shot a healthcare CEO in the back and communists celebrated him. Women openly.
This is something that I blew my mind because I'm 100% against celebrating people who murder people. Like whether it's giving them money or supporting in any ways, because I believe this acts like a reward structure, and this is going to make more people want to commit a similar crime to gain the same sympathy points as the last guy. So that's my whole thought process of supporting crazy people who murder people or assassinate people.
Gushed over him and still do. Even as he's pled guilty, they still simp for him. Now, I know women have always been crazy. All famous murderers get love letters in prison, so it's not exactly a new phenomenon. But we can have a discussion about daddy issues another time. That's not what this is. This is something more sinister. What explains the outpouring of love for the mom who strangled her kids? Why are people trying so hard to exonerate her? When some criminal migrant masturbates in front of children at a public beach, the dads rightfully beat the shit out of him. But a woman suffering with suicidal empathy intervenes.
Jail the guy who was doing that, bro. 100%. He needs to go to prison. Like, you should not be doing that in front of kids. Especially, you shouldn't be doing that out in public, especially in front of kids. What the actual fuck?
To protect and comfort that child sex offender? When you see an invasion of Spain, you see a
God,
woke woman gleefully waving the invaders
sad.
in. Is this what matriarchy looks like? Where this kind of suicidal empathy that exploits the noble virtue of unconditional maternal compassion and perverts it towards the criminal dregs of society? All because wokeness now supersedes all normal virtue? We've heard that expression, it's a face that only a mother can love. I know I always heard it. We all know that unconditional maternal love, that superpower that God imbued into our mothers to make sure they loved us, irrationally loved us, so they didn't toss us into the damn river as babies when we're crying all night long for months on end. Their maternal love must supersede all reason and normal emotion in order to make sure that they can even make it through. But now that irrational love isn't pointed at our own vulnerable children. It's been reallocated towards whatever group the algorithm has designated as the vulnerable class. Criminal migrants, drug addicts on the street, any and all of the worst cretins of the planet get full feminine favor and protection as long as they're not the ultimate Satan, the white male.
Brother.
The hijacking of the maternal instinct didn't start with social media. It goes way back to 1995 when she watched Dead Man Walking as a teenager. When that film planted the seed that vile criminals deserve her heartfelt tears.
This movie existed.
You can stop this from happening, sir.
Then Dexter.
Bro, that's gotta be like the dumbest argument. You can stop this from happening. I have no empathy or sympathy for murderers. None. Zero. If you take a life, your life should be taken in return. Obviously with the by the court, right? Like, you kill someone, I am all for the death penalty. straight up. So, yeah, you kill someone, death penalty. That's my argument. And, you know, then it'll probably stop. Because, you know, what's a good deterrent? Death. Death's a good deterrent. So, death penalty for murderers? Yeah, I 100% would agree with that. I'm all for it.
Injected it with steroids. This is the prolonged conditioning that accelerated with the ascendance of the Byronic hero. We got so cute with finding redeeming qualities in irredeemable villains. Gone are the days of the true bad guy. Now, the cinematic vanguard is in love with finding the humanity in the bad guy, telling the sympathetic origin story. Our parents had superheroes. We have anti-heroes.
Yeah, in like a lot of like these movies, like especially at Disney and the remakes, they like Maleficent and Scar are perfect examples. They took these villains, right? They took these bad guys and they gave them a backstory. They didn't need a backstory. They were villains to be villains. And it was to show the world that, yes, bad guys do exist in this world. Evil does exist in this world. And now they're like, they have to have a reason. There's got to be like some backstory. And villains cannot be evil for evil's sake anymore, which honestly to me, I feels like ruins most movies.
Goddamn right.
Breaking Bad was so brilliant, but it made us cheer on a narcissistic, murderous, criminal drug kingpin who destroyed his family over money.
I hear
when
it's
Tim
good,
Burton
though.
did Batman, the Joker was a lunatic. But now the Joker gets his own movie where he's the hero, and the climax of the film is him murdering the orderlies at the asylum.
We don't talk about Joker 2, though. That's even worse. Oh, how to ruin one of the greatest villains of all time. Let's give him a musical and a backstory. What are we doing?
The arts dog-walked us here over decades with films and television that inverted the paradigm of normal virtue. Cops are the bad guys, outlaws are the heroes, and man, do you see that manifesting in reality today. Scrolling through Mommy Sleuth TikTok is an exercise in pure insanity. Whatever this woke social media blob has done to the modern mind, it's gone far beyond internet sleuthing, and it spawned an entire generation of hollow-out, depraved crazies. What about all the goblins celebrating the communists who shot Charlie?
Another word I love. Oh my god, I gotta use this one more. Goblins. Goblins. That is like the perfect word. If not calling them animals, goblins. I love that word. It fits perfect.
Kirk, you have insane influencers making a fortune off shamelessly exploiting his death, tying themselves in knots with the most convoluted Rube Goldberg bullshit explanations to try and deny something we all saw.
I didn't even know who Charlie Kirk kind of was. Like, I saw like videos of him before his death, and I remember one day I came home from work. And I think it was an Asmongold video. And it was like, Charlie Kirk assassinated. And I was like, there's no way. I thought I just watched a recent video of him the other day. And I was like, and then I looked at him like, he's dead. And he's dead? They assassinated him? Wait, what? This shocked me. And then the celebration of it all. Kaddish was just like, disgusted me more than the actual murderer. Like, the murder was one thing, which was disturbing, and then you had the people celebrating it, which disgusted me. I ain't gonna lie to you, it disgusted me. I thought it was terrible.
4K and wish we didn't. It was an exploding mic.
And he had a rigged microphone.
And they
What
timed it
happened to
precisely to the
condemning criminals?
millisecond with the fake gunshot from the patsy.
The shaped charge was actually
Oh
supposed to be in the
yeah,
chassis.
the
There were
Israel
Jews hiding
did
under
it
the
woman. It was
glass.
like, oh,
It was
Israel
French
did
special
it.
forces. Just the craziest, most unhinged shit imaginable. And people believe it. Anything but what actually happened. Anything but the most obvious, straightforward
Yeah, I'm not gonna believe in a woman that's believes that like the dinosaur bones were buried under earth to convince the Christians that God ain't real. Like, yeah, I'm totally gonna believe that woman, guys. Yeah, 100%. So believable. How do people fall for it? I don't understand. Like, we're talking about really, really, really low IQ. I'm starting to wonder who's got lower IQ. The illegal immigrants that are trying to come in here, or these guys? You all know the ones I'm talking about.
Explanation. The woke communists you saw on camera who have prints on the rifle killed an anti-communist leader because communists are violent lunatics. That's it. We have a communist violence problem, but psychos on the internet have made an entire cottage industry around denying and exploiting it.
We're not morons.
But what's so much worse than these crazy conspiracies is how it drives people to abandon their basic human decency. It goes from just asking questions to demonizing a grieving widow, celebrating her husband's violent death. It's so much worse than just absolving the actual murderer and trying to sabotage the trial. These people have a bloodlust.
Yes, this disgusts me more than the
what
actual
have you
murderer,
become when you
way.
celebrate an assassination like this? I don't care what your politics are. This was a father, a loving husband. You know, I was in D.C. in an interagency meeting when that communist shot Charlie. I was there advocating for the Palisades, trying to get things done to help us rebuild when everyone's phones started buzzing. Now, I never knew Charlie, but some of the president's cabinet members were with us, agency heads, people who were friends with Charlie and had worked with him for years, and they were devastated. It was one of the most grotesque and shocking moments I've ever seen in American history, but the reactions that followed were far more grotesque and reveal a sad report on where we are as a country. Teachers mocking his death, drag queens putting on assassination fashion shows. Who are these demons? What have we allowed ourselves to become? We have been so thoroughly demoralized, I fear that we can't get any lower. These things have fried our brains.
Oh, the news curse guy. Oh my god. Words cannot describe how pathetic this guy is right here on screen. Who are you targeting, my guy? I was going to say something else, but this guy on screen just made me forget all that. You know what? Let's continue.
Politicians have become full-time influencers and utter clowns. Jester gooning instead of campaigning. We dress like slobs. We shrug away drug addicts defiling themselves on our streets. We celebrate murders and lawlessness with alacrity. We have no dignity anymore, and I don't know how we get it back.
Well, I can think of a couple ways. Way one, we need to have Arkham Asylum and put all the crazy people in. You know, do we have the 2% rule? Asmongold talks about it all the time. Honestly, I think it would work. Sounds good. You know, that's my opinion on it all. I think the only way we're really going to get it back is we actually have to crack down on the lawlessness, and we got to put these people in jail. Well, that's it for this video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more. Peace.